The abuse escalated. At first, it was just words, cruel and demeaning. Bryan's voice dripped with disdain as he hurled insults at Helen, chipping away at her self-esteem. He called her names that echoed in her mind long after the words were spoken, planting seeds of doubt and self-loathing. Bryan would criticize everything about her, from the way she dressed to the way she spoke. "You're so pathetic," he would sneer. "Why can't you do anything right?" Each word was a sharp dagger aimed at her confidence. He belittled her achievements, dismissing her hard work with a wave of his hand. "Your job is a joke," he would say, making her feel insignificant and worthless. Helen tried to brush off the verbal attacks, convincing herself that Bryan was just under stress and didn't mean the hurtful things he said. She rationalized his behavior, telling herself that he was going through a tough time at work or that he was struggling with personal issues. She clung to the hope that his cruelty was temporary, a phase that would eventually pass. In public, Bryan maintained a facade of charm and charisma, making it difficult for others to see the truth of their relationship. Helen felt increasingly isolated, unable to confide in friends or family about the reality of her situation because she feared the shame of staying with Bryan despite his abusive behavior. Privately, Helen's mind became a battleground. She replayed Bryan's words over and over, struggling to silence the voice that told her she wasn't good enough. She began to internalize the insults, believing that she was indeed the failure Bryan made her out to be. She told herself that if she could just be better, just do things right, he would love her again. But deep down, a small, resilient part of her knew that she deserved more than a life defined by Bryan's cruelty. But the words soon turned into actions. The slaps came, sudden and shocking, leaving Helen stunned and shaken. The first time Bryan hit her, she couldn't believe it. She stood there, her cheek burning, as tears welled up in her eyes. Bryan's eyes were cold and unfeeling as he justified his actions, claiming she was too slow, too stubborn, too much of a disappointment. Each slap, each blow was rationalized in his mind, a twisted form of punishment that he believed she deserved. Despite the escalating abuse, Helen stayed. She clung to the vows she had taken before God, believing that her commitment to her marriage meant enduring whatever trials came her way. The words she had spoken on her wedding day echoed in her mind, "For better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part." These vows were sacred to her, a testament to her devotion and the promise she had made before her family, friends, and God. Helen's faith became both a source of strength and a shackle. She sought solace in prayer, asking for the strength to endure and the wisdom to navigate her troubled marriage. She believed that suffering was a part of her journey, a test of her character and devotion. Her religious convictions made it difficult for her to see that staying with Bryan was not a sign of strength but a submission to his abuse. The thought of leaving Bryan felt like an admission of failure. Helen couldn't bear the idea of breaking her vows and the stigma that came with it. Divorce was not just a personal defeat but a public one, a mark of shame that she feared would tarnish her reputation and disappoint her loved ones. She worried about what people would say, how they would judge her for not being able to make it work,